Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's practice will be a mobility flow to help build strength and flexibility in the hips. We'll have some fun transitions and hands-free challenges, so I hope you enjoy the practice and we'll get started in a wide-legged child's pose. So move towards the back of your mat, feet come together, knees come wide, and settle back into the hips, walking hands long in front of you. And extending head towards the floor. Taking a minute to ground before we start movement today. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, let it go. Settling into breathing in through the nose and out through the nose throughout today's practice. Eventually coming up onto fingertips and walking hands towards the body as we begin our movement today. And when you've come to a straightish spine, folding over the ankles and extending legs long in front of you for a wide-legged forward fold. So sit up with a straight spine, take a deep inhale, and exhale, walk the hands out long in front of you, any amount, flexing feet back towards body. Maybe feeling a stretch in the inner thighs. Inhale, and let your next exhale bring you out of the stretch, walking hands back towards body and coming to a straight spine. And point out the toes. We're going to work on some strength in the hips. So walk upper body over to the right side so your upper body is facing the right leg. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Try to lift the right toes off the mat, or the right heel off the mat. And lift and lower. And walking hands over to left side. Same thing on the left. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Lift the left heel off the mat, any amount, and lower it back down. Walking over to right side, same thing. Inhale and exhale. Lift the heel from the mat, any amount, and lower. Walking over to left side, inhale and exhale. Lift the heel off the mat, using the strength of the lower abs and the hip flexors. So one more time, you have the option to swap out sides again, or bring hands to middle between the legs and point out the toes. Inhale, exhale, try to lift both heels off the mat and lower. And one more time, inhale, exhale, lift heels from mat and lower. When you're ready, bring hands to outer thighs and close the legs like a book, Baddha Konasana, bringing soles of the feet together. And knees extend out wide to either side of the room. Find a straight spine, and then fold over the feet, any amount. Maybe tucking chin into chest when you've reached the deepest expression of the pose. And eventually rolling up the spine, coming out of the stretch, crossing over ankles. Find a tabletop position, wrists stack under shoulders, knees stack under hips. We'll take some wrist circles in a clockwise direction, warming up the wrists. And switch directions counterclockwise. And eventually coming to neutral, find a knit in the rib cage and strengthen the shoulders. Move through some cat-cows. So inhale, heart melts towards floor, head and tailbone tucked towards sky. And exhale, round out the body, cat pose. Inhale, heart melts towards floor. Exhale, round out the back body. Inhale, heart melts towards floor. And exhale, round out the back body. Move into a down dog, ground into hands, tuck onto toes, and find strength in the hands to drive the hips towards the sky. And downward facing dog. Take a minute to pedal out the feet, bending into right knee and left knee. Any movement that feels good in the body. On your next inhale, right leg reaches towards sky, and pigeon pose. Bring right knee into right wrist, and right foot falls anywhere that's comfortable along the mat. If you feel any pain, back out of the stretch. You've gone too far. So sit up tall in your pigeon, maybe taking a bit of a back bend here. And when you're ready, walk hands out long in front of you. Fold over the right leg. Sleeping pigeon. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, lift upper body. Walk hands back towards the body. And we're going to take a bit of a funky transition into a wide-legged forward fold. When you're ready, drop onto your right hip and continue turning until you find yourself all the way in your wide-legged forward fold. Legs extended long to either side of the room. Feet flex back towards you. And bring hands towards the center line. When you're ready, inhale and walk the hands out long in front of you, any amount that's comfortable. Making sure that feet are flexed back towards body and keep rotating towards the outside of the center line. When you're ready, walking hands back in towards body. We'll take 2 leg lifts, so pointing out the toes, option to do one leg at a time or both legs at the same time. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, lift heels from mat and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift heels from mat and lower. And when you're ready, bringing hands to outside of the thighs, close the legs like a book, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees extend wide to either side of the mat, and fold over the feet. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. We're really trying to open up the hips as well as building some strength in the hip flexors with the leg lifts. When you're ready, rolling up the spine, coming back to a straight spine, and extend legs long in front of you, finding a seated forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up high overhead, and exhale, walk legs towards feet, any amount, with trying to keep a straight spine. And maybe at the deepest expression of your pose, tucking chin into chest and finding a bit of rounding through the upper back. Inhale, and exhale, let it go. Walk hands back towards body. Bend into right knee and bring right foot over top of the left leg, off to the left side of the mat. Right knee should stack on top of left knee. You can hang out here. If this is too much, release the pose and find your forward fold. And you can fold over the legs, or option to bend into left knee if you're looking for a little bit more, finding a full cow face pose. An option to fold here or take a twist. Right arm extends behind you. Left elbow comes to right knee. And maybe gaze comes over top of right shoulder, looking behind you. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, try to deepen the twist any amount. When you're ready, unwind the twist, coming out the way we came in. Extend through the left leg and extend through the right leg. This will be a bit of a funky transition back into pigeon, so maybe try to do this without the help of the hands if you can. Hands are always there if you need them. So bringing the right knee towards the top of the mat, swing the left leg behind you, long behind you, finding a pigeon pose, and eventually allowing hands to drop towards the mat, finding the full expression of the pose. Ground into palms, tuck onto left toes. Inhale, right leg sweeps high behind you, three-legged downward dog. And bring right foot to plant beside left, downward facing dog. Same sequence, second side. Inhale, left leg sweeps high towards sky. Exhale, bring left knee to left wrist, and settle into your pigeon pose. Left shin falling along the mat. Maybe sit up tall in your pigeon, building some strength and finding a bit of a back bend. And when you're ready, walking hands out long in front of you, maybe bringing forehead to back of hands or to the mat for a sleeping pigeon. And always remembering that if you feel pain in the left knee, you've gone too far. We never want to find pain in yoga shapes. Maybe breathing into any muscles that feel tight in this shape. Seeing if we can relax them just a little bit more. Inhale, lift the upper body any amount, and walk hands back in towards body. Same transition into wide-legged forward fold, falling onto the left hip, and continue twisting until legs extend long to either side of the mat. Feet flex back towards your body, finding a straight spine. Walk the hands out in front of you. Upper body melts towards the floor. Inhale and exhale. Walk hands back towards body. We'll take some more leg lifts in this shape, so pointing out the toes. An option to do one leg at a time or both legs at the same time. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Lift the heels from the mat and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift heels from the mat and lower. Bring hands to outer hips, outer thighs, and fold the legs in towards each other like a book, bringing soles of feet together and knees wide. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Melt the upper body over the feet, bringing heart towards floor. And finding your breath in this shape. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Let it go. Inhale, roll up the spine, finding a straight back, and walk legs long in front of you for your seated forward fold. Inhale, arms extend high overhead, and exhale, walk hands towards feet. Think about keeping a straight spine in this shape, and maybe when you've reached the deepest expression, tucking chin in towards chest and rounding out the upper spine. Walk hands back in towards body, taking cow face on the other side. So first coming into half cow face if that's comfortable. Lifting the left, bending into left knee, and bringing left foot off towards the right side of the mat. So left knee stacks on top of right knee. And this could be a stopping point where you fold over the feet, or option to bend into right knee and finding a full cow face pose. Remembering that if you feel pain, you've gone too far, and seated forward fold is always available if you're finding pain in the knees. So option to take the twist, walk left arm behind you, bring right elbow to left knee, and press elbow into knee to find your twist. Take a deep inhale, and let your next exhale deepen the twist any amount. Maybe bringing gaze over left shoulder. And unwind the twist. Walk upper body back towards the knees. And unwinding cow face the way we came in. Straighten out through the right leg, if you have that, and through the left leg. Finding yourself in staff pose, legs extended long in front of you. And when you're ready, that same funky transition back into pigeon pose. So bringing left knee towards the top of the mat and swinging right leg long behind you. When you've reached that point, maybe bringing hands back to mat and settling into your pigeon pose. And finding a bit of a back bend. Tuck onto right toes, press into hands, three-legged downward dog. Left leg lifts towards sky. And plant left foot beside right foot. Downward dog. And bend into knees, lower knees to mat. Cross over ankles. Finding a wide-legged forward fold. One more time before we start to slow down. Walk hands out long in front of you. Feet flex towards body. And maybe tucking chin into chest when you've reached the deepest expression of your pose. Walk hands back in towards body. We'll move into a wide-legged child's pose. So crossing over the ankles. Bring feet together, knees wide. And walk hands out long in front of you. Forehead drops towards the ground. Maybe noticing how this shape feels different than the wide-kneed child's pose that we took at the beginning of practice. Breathing into the hips. Ready, walking hands back towards body, crossing over the ankles, and bringing yourself into a Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Feet come together and knees extend wide. Fold over the feet. Heart melts towards the floor. And rolling up the spine, extend hands out in front of you. Slowly lower upper body towards the floor. Eventually, back is connecting with the mat in Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle pose. And from here, you can move into your Shavasana, corpse pose, extending legs long, maybe closing down the eyes, arms extending out away from you. And I'll leave you here for today. I encourage that you stay a little bit longer here if you have the time and space for it. And I would also encourage that you try out a seated meditation after your Shavasana today. We've opened up the hips, so you may find that it's much easier to hang out in a seat for longer. Always options depending on what works for you. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to practice together again soon.